What's going on, good people? Hey, SMOKEPOLE TV. We got an amazing show for you today. Not even really a show, just wanted to kind of quickly go live on something that was kind of a trending topic and kind of important that I think has a lot of hidden jewels in it. There was a conflict that took place in the manosphere or the red pill zone. There was two different guys, and it was an interesting conflict because that brings up a lot of different topics and a lot of different things that are worthy of discussion. But it was between two type of guys, and I'm going to use terminology like nerd and a couple other things that may sound a little offensive, but it's not intended to be offensive. It's just trying to identify. I'm actually a fan of nerds. You know what I mean? I think nerds are pretty cool, but and I'll explain that a little bit later as these videos go on. But my point being is we're going to go over a couple things. One of the things is the psychology of the gun, the psychology of the gun and the gun owner. What does being a new carrier even do to the mind? There's a lot of training on trigger pulls and different tactical things. There's a ton of training out there on those type of situations, but you don't often find a lot of people talking much about the psychology and how it affects the gun owner and just in general, because everyone has such different experiences with guns. Some people, you mentioned guns, and their first instinct is I actually had a conversation with one of my buddies from Chicago, and his first instinct's like, man, there was so much street violence I grew up to, man. Anytime I talk about guns, it just brings a negative light to them. And I understand that. I can totally get that. I went to a high school, and I went to high school in an area where that is, nationally known for mass shootings and craziness and so forth. But with that being said, so the psychological impact of gun ownership and just guns in general affects people in a lot of different ways, which is important. And I think that this conflict really, really hits on the head some really important parts as far as the psychology of thinking, oh, nobody has a gun. And then the psychology of a Florida person or a Texas person where it's quite possible any and everybody has a gun. And I wondered to myself, and the question I want to ask you guys in the comments is that what emboldens the criminal? Is a criminal emboldened? Do you think a criminal is more likely to jump into a window in California, or do you believe that they're going to jump into a window in Texas? I'm a strong believer that, you're much more likely to jump in that California window because in that Texas window, it's quite possible you're not going to come out of that the same way, if you understand what I'm talking about. With that being said, we are going to check out a couple of videos, go over what happened, what took place, and then we're going to actually review of those videos, because I think there were some interesting points that I want to address in that as well. So first thing I will do, bear with me. Let's see if we can, the technological side of this, we're getting a little bit better with that. So let's see what we have. All right, this is it. So let's just take a look at the podcast. I'm going to speed through a couple different parts just to get to the important stuff. It's this gentleman right here. This is the guy in which you want to pay attention to. And before I even get into the video, I want to give you a couple of my opinions on things. I'm a firm believer in balance. I do believe that in order to be a high value man, you do have to be great at all things. You have to have the aspiration to excel and, just be better. You have to be better, try harder, go harder, and in every aspect of life. So there's some jewels that this guy is saying. I don't know exactly who he is, but I've kind of done a little bit of research on him. He's a motivational guy, one of those guys who charges people in order to, get them pumped up and get them to doing whatever they do. But it is quite interesting. I think he's a California type of guy, ex-prisoner. Another part of this I'm going to address a little bit later. And then you got this guy. He's the nerd, man. But he's a really cool dude. Both of them are red pill guys. But let's see how this kicks off. First thing that happens is he definitely fucks around. And then he finds out. We're gonna see where the cool California guy, he's going to go over his version of what success is and a high value man to him. some of which I really firmly agree with. Let's check him out.
About that, there's no black and white life. It's the gray area. I'm gonna listen to you, fucking ass. But this great tits if you're not
blessed man.
All right.
Okay. And my definition of success is across the board. If you're not ripped, if you're not rich, if you ain't rare, if you don't stand out, if you ain't across the board successful, it doesn't mean fucking shit to me. If you got straight tits and you're in your Rolls Royce, you look like a fucking clown to me. I'm just laughing at your dumb fucking ass. But this is the whole fucking point. You have a weakness. Change it, motherfucker. How the fuck are you going to lead people if you don't realize your weakness is their way out? They're not going to listen to you. You're sitting there possessing shit that they don't want to have. So, I mean, this is what people say. Oh, it's not about the money. It's about family, Wes. It's about this, about that. Motherfucker, when you're making money, it's about the money. When it's family, it's about family. When you're at the gym, it's about muscle. Whatever you're doing, it's about that. There's no black and white life. It's the gray area. You have to be good at everything. That's the goal, to really excel in every area. I roll in most rooms with successful entrepreneurs, and it's pathetic. They'll have like a before and after picture of their fitness shit, and their after picture looks like their before pic. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're not embarrassed of this shit? Like, you have enough money, and that's what you put out. You're that big of a pussy. Like, I just can't get behind anything that's not done at a high level. So knock the one thing off the board first.
All right, let me just stop there, because for the most part, I agree with what he's talking about. Like, there's a lot of people that are trying to make this guy seem like a clown, or like what he's talking about is ridiculous. I really don't think so. I think that there's a lot of value in what he's saying, that you just have to be good. You have to be able to and willing to excel in everything. These are definitely qualities of greatness. Now, there are other qualities that are more important. And this is when you get into the gun ownership thing, is because self-control, being able to, de-escalate, understand things, being able to communicate. These are all things and qualities that, come with, success. And some people are granted success without these qualities by different routes, because nothing is just, like you said, black and white. There's ways where you can succeed and not have any type of integrity, not have any type of work ethic. It's just the way the universe works. But, the elements that he mentioned are elements that are necessary for success. You have to have that ambition and that willingness to be great and at everything. So far, I'm with the guy. You know what I mean? I'm definitely with the guy.
First, then the next thing, Jados is ripped, rich, and rare. I mean, the whole thing. What's rare mean to me? It means no vices. It means no drugs, no alcohol, no bullshit. Don't have to hide behind nothing. I mean, what's rich? I mean, you get to do what the fuck you want. I don't need you to be a billionaire to say you're rich, or other people, they'll see that even I rent my place. It's $95,000 a month. But they're like, you rent your place. It's like, you dumb motherfucker. You don't understand how to even operate at my level. People don't buy a $24 million house. They buy $24 million worth of properties that would bring them more money. You don't dump all that into that fucking liability and live in some $24 million pad you bought, stupid. Fucking make investments and you bring it back to this. But everybody thinks they know some shit. And if you don't have the results that I want in some area, I can't fucking listen to you. So most people,
what's up? Drop where you're from. You know, man, where you at in the city. Tell me where you guys at. Make sure you dropping where you're from.
You should do your push-ups like this. And I say, why? So I can look like you, motherfucker?
Let me know.
And the guy's like, oh, no, but like, it looks like you're going to hurt your, shut the fuck up, dude. I'm end up with your chest if I do that shit. Why would I want that? Or these motherfuckers go in my comments and,
this is where the guy goes wrong. This is where he kind of goes a little bit left, is because, anytime your aspiration is money, anytime your final goal is money, you have no final goal. There's no end game to acquiring millions on millions. There's no end. So there's no actual goal of satisfaction. You have to love the hustle, which is a whole nother story. But, it's just a very, very empty goal to chase money, just specifically, just only money. And this is where he's kind of going to go left. So let's check him out, see what he says. and the conflict when they get into it. This is really the part that we're going to really talk about a lot deeper. So stick around, because this is just the warm up. I really like what he's going. I like what he's saying. I like what he's talking about. You know, I do find a little bit of hypocrisy in it, is because, you know, and I don't want to jump into what I found out about him. And but as of right now, he's right, man. He's talking about, you want to have some things, you want to be rare. And rare, when you say rare, it ain't about muscles. Muscles, you know, that's not necessarily what's rare. What's rare is people with real good quality of character and quality of good human beings. That's rare. So when you start talking about a high value man, you know, I feel like money is just the entry level into the amusement park. That's just to get you in there. If you're a fucking man, you should have money. You know, if you're a man and you're old enough to think, and you should be able to excel and get more money. And if you're an adult and you're a man and you haven't figured out how to get more money, you're not even in the amusement park, whatever. So having a certain level of money does not necessarily make you a high value man. Having a certain level of money just gets you in the amusement park. But after you're in the amusement park, what do you do? You know, what impacts do you have on what's going on in this place? And those are the things that make you a high value man. And those are the things that are rare. Because once you get into a certain position, everybody got money. I have never lived in California, but in Miami, you know, a Benz is a Honda, a Lamborghini's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just regular. It's regular. So that it's not something that really acquires a lot of status, because it's just so common. So what I'm saying is, like, having money is that's entry level. It's not what's going to actually, I think, define anyone as a high value man specifically, or some muscles, obviously. But let's see what this guy has to say. Let's go.
I'll say some shit on purpose. I'm like, rent or buy. And if you ain't at the level to even do either of these, shut the fuck up and don't even participate. And they just get mad. It's like, you don't get to have an opinion if it's not an option for you. You don't get to say my chick's BBL and her fake tits aren't for you. You couldn't get her, you dumb motherfucker. You got a goddamn 3. And that's the worst thing about these motherfuckers.
Right,
they try to give you relationship advice. Motherfucker, you got a borderline Miami 2. That's like a fucking Mississippi 6. Like, what the fuck you talking about? Don't give me relationship advice to my 10. It's better than mine. How'd you get her? That car's way more than mine. How'd you do it? You make more than me. What's up? Like, just fucking.
Definition of success is having a family.
So this is the alternate approach. So that was the California guy, right? California guy, he's like, yo, you gotta have muscles, you gotta have money, and you know, at the end of the day, for him, that's all that's important, right? Now, this next guy that's about to talk, if I'm not mistaken, I think this next guy's from Florida, you know. And, you know, obviously he's not in the greatest of shape. You know, understand me? You know what I'm saying? You see him. He's not no, you know, jacked up stud. But this guy has morals and integrity. And I actually watched a few of his videos before doing this live, just to kind of check out and see what he's about. And this guy's not a sucker. He's not no simp. He's like, you know what I mean? Serious. He's a serious dude. He's intelligent. But, you know, he just is not on the go. I'm get jacked. I'm all, you know, get roids, like, it's just, there's so many other elements to life, and he's going to explain that. So let's see what this brother has to say. And when they conflict is really why this is so important, and why I wanted to contrast the psychological element of a California person and a Florida person, and how they operate. One, obviously, you see the California person. This guy he's like, yo, the Lambo, you got to have this, you got to do this and this. And then that's how I respect you. That's how I listen to you. Okay, touche. You know, everybody has their own cup of tea. Now, let's see what the Florida man says. And this is not I don't want to paint everybody with that broad of a brush. That would obviously be inaccurate. But when it comes to the point of contention, when they almost conflict, that is something that is 100%. We're going to get into why these things are undebatable. Let's see what they talk about. His version of a successful man.
Maybe be the lone dissenter, but my definition of success is having a family, having children, and being part of the apparatus of the world. And true wealth is a rejection of materialism. As Christ said himself, what good does it benefit a man to gain the entire world at the cost of his soul?
Okay.
And essentially, when I think of wealth, I think of materialism.
Uh-oh. He done brought out the biblical verses on him. That's what he did. He done said, what good is it if he gets the world and gives up his soul, man? You know, and that's a fact. That's a fact. The pursuit of money is an endless pursuit. You have to have something of deeper substance and value to be fulfilled, generally speaking, but not everybody's the same. And that's where, you know, that's where I kind of understand what my man's talking about. Like, because when you've never had money, money's everything. Money's everything to somebody who's never had no money.
It's okay to have materialism. It's not against Christian ethics to become rich, become wealthy. But I just think it's all beside the point, ultimately. You're trying to go for a single thing, and it's to achieve something greater
than
money.
The person. Does he have money?
No.
Do you have money?
No, I don't have.
How much money do you have?
I don't have money. But here's the thing. Why?
I love that. I love how he just said no. Like, no, like, what are you talking about? Like, you know, and I really think that this is a sign of the times as well, because, you know, we've gotten to a generation where I believe that, you know, the only thing that people find of value in is money. People think that because somebody has money, that means that they are good people, or they're smart, or that means that they're whatever. It's really interesting. But I do believe that this is something that is an epidemic in today's society, is that money is the only standard in which people equate value. So I think that's kind of crazy. But hold tight, everybody. All right. We're back. Okay. So let's just see what he's got to say. He said a lot of stuff about family. He says that materialism is something that is not necessarily the attributes of success or a high value man. I think that there's a lot of validity in what he's saying. So let's listen to what else he got to say until the conflict.
Why is money valuable?
Do you have money?
What is money valuable for?
I'm just asking. Do you have money?
I just said no. I'm broke. I'm a nobody.
No, but really, you are?
Yeah.
Is he really broke?
Yeah.
I just want to know. I have to know.
No, I'm not. I'm not one of these rich guys. I don't have a Bugatti. I don't have a Lambo.
I just really have to know. Like, how much money you got?
Probably $5 in my pocket. Not much more.
See, can anyone answer for the guy?
Why do they think I'm kidding? I have a family. I take care of an entire family.
Yo, that's cornball shit, yo. That's cornball shit. That's supreme cornball shit. How much money you got? That's it's very feminine to do things like that. And the reason why is because it's the nature of a woman. And that's one of the reasons that, typically speaking, you know, the third question a woman will ask you is what you do for a living, within the first two or three. But it's because people want to associate what you do with the level of respect that they give you. And it's just a feminine way. And that's just to say it politely. You know what I mean? I'm trying to clean up my language on here. But it's just a feminine way to approach. And especially for a man to do that to another man is even more disgusting. The way I look at this is kind of like me personally. And I'll just give you a little bit of my personal experience and my the people that I keep around me. There's two different type of, and forgive my terminology, but two different type of niggas. And some of you will know what I'm talking about when I say this. There's a club nigga, and then there's a street nigga. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, if you know authentic street niggas, you don't find them guys typically in the club. They don't go to the club. It's just not really them. It's a totally different group of people that you'll find in the club. Those club guys are like these guys here. These guys are club guys. You're gonna see them guys in the club. These guys, these guys are street dudes. You know what I'm saying? In a different type of parallel. But these guys aren't going to be in the clubs. These guys are going to be handling their business in their homes, in their streets, and with their peers. A lot more focused group of people here. But neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and see until this conflict comes, because that's what I'm waiting for. The psychology of gun ownership. Let's go.
That takes a lot of money.
All right. He's doing all right.
Okay,
It's okay.
This is the thing. You guys. If you ain't fit, you can't say it's not all about being in good shape.
Why not?
If you don't have money, you can't say it's not all about money.
Why
But
not?
if he does have money, he can say that.
Why not?
He
Why
can't.
can't you say it? Why must you have the thing
Because
before you hang on? Let me ask the question.
Because hypothetical
Let
is
me ask the question.
hypocritical.
Let me ask the question.
Hypothetical is hypocritical.
How do you even know what I was going to say before I've even been allowed to ask the question?
I know what you're going to say.
Then what was I going to say?
You're going to say, why can't you ask the question?
Okay, so that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say is, how in the world can you create a standard that it's inappropriate to ask somebody, how come if I don't have X thing, because I don't value X thing, does that mean X thing is actually valuable?
You've never experienced it, so you can't speak about it.
You think that I haven't experienced wealth? Even
I was asking if you did.
Even poor people experience days of wealth.
I was asking if you did. I don't know who you are.
That's smart. That's true
even
shit.
Poor people experience days of wealth. And so the thing is
no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Definitely so.
Not.
Definitely so.
I've lived the lowest lows and the highest highs.
Well, what's the distinction? After you make X amount, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if you look at these studies done on this, it does not.
I don't fit no fucking studies.
It does not hugely improve a person's life.
Are you proud of who the fuck you are?
Why
look at, are you proud? If you look in the mirror, would you guys say this motherfucker's proud of who the fuck he is? That's a bag of trash, dude. Pull your fucking shirt
because
off.
I've been.
Tell me.
Now, I'm a firm believer, and tell me if you disagree in the comments, because this is serious. I'm a firm believer that this right here is a good example of the motherfucker that's jumping into the window in California. See, in California, it's okay to approach people like that. The reason I'm using this as an example is because I had a fan, a detractor or a commenter, some California guy, and I mean, he was intense. I mean, it was just a video that had nothing to do with gun, and he came and he said all this like super intense, like violent stuff, and I'm like, man, this guy's, how are you? It's so hypocritical. Like, yo, you're talking about advocating for peace. You don't want guns on the streets, but the way you approach it is almost like you want to kill me, and I'm not a criminal. You know what I'm saying? I'm a family man and so forth. Like, and that's why I say the psychology of the gun will affect people in different ways. Some people, a gun, regardless if it's held by somebody that would save their life, just the gun in itself is so chaotic that they want me dead. They want me, whatever they want. This guy was intense, yo. But either way, neither here nor there. So this is the Cali guy, right? In Florida, we don't do a lot of the job. Like, and I don't even want to say we, because I ain't even from here. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But there's not a lot of verbal conflicts. You won't, man. I've been out here, man, I think 10 years or so. I don't even know. But you don't see a lot of verbal conflicts out here, not elongated verbal conflicts. This guy done stood out of his seat, pointed his finger and said all kind of offensive stuff, and then threatened to slap the shit out of this man. That's what this guy just did, right? Guy keeps it cool, calm, and collective. This is extremely important, and this is what I think is lacking in the gun community, and I'm going to drop a video about it in the next few days, as far as the psychology of the gun owner and how a gun should affect you, and how and different emotions, feelings, situations that you're going to want to avoid if and when you do become a gun owner. So that's going to be a really interesting video, so stay tuned. But this guy embodies that to an incredibly great degree, the nerd. You know what I mean? Because one, as a gun owner, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. You have to know how to deal with a monkey. And this guy's a monkey. You know what I'm saying? You can tell he's a monkey. Monkeys are very rational. They're erratic. And sometimes there's different ways you can deal with a monkey. But like, you know, this guy really played this situation because of the circumstance and the setting. He played it perfectly. It just shows the difference in the psychology of a California person who thinks nobody has a gun, and like your little muscles don't do nothing. It just ain't gonna cut it. So let's see what happens when the tough California guy jumps up and starts calling the nerd names.
You're fucking proud
because
of yourself.
I've been to fucking prison.
Jesus Christ!
Because
look
I've been
at
to
you,
prison.
Bro. You got 10-inch arms and tits. Men don't have tits.
No, they go to prison where they get fucking.
Fuck yeah,
where they get
do.
raped up the ass.
You've never been.
That's another thing, man. You know, and I say this with all due respect, you know what I'm saying? Because I got brothers in prison right now that I send money almost monthly. And you know, one thing I'm a firm believer in, I don't give a damn about your prison bid. If you tell me about you going to prison or how tough you are, I don't care about that. Prison to me is for dummies and people who messed up and got caught. There's nothing honorable about prison, and there's nothing tough about that for me. I mean, just to me, like, yo, I'm not, that don't impress me at all. I'm not, that don't do nothing. I'm not in, that just does not do anything to me emotionally when somebody tells me I was in prison and okay, stupid. Like, come on, stop it. Shit ain't tough.
Get to prison. Look,
That's
he's talking
what
about shit
happens.
you don't know.
They go to prison where they get
let's do
raped.
Now you get your ass
Hold on,
beat
hold
in
on,
front
You
of
think that
everybody.
that's better?
Guys,
You think that that's
Okay,
better?
let's let him give his definition of success. And then
Having tits and 10-inch arms is what a
let's-
man is.
let's
You
let him-
guys.
let's let him get
Please
his-
don't listen to that.
Wes, let's let him get his thing out, and then
Tits,
We can have different opinions.
yeah, go.
titties,
Anyway, back to where I was at.
boobs.
Yeah. Okay. Prison. But anyway, if you want,
Fuck yeah.
if you want to follow the successful mantra of a man who tells you he's reformed from prison, understand why they might have gone there to begin with. And
To take care
yes,
of a
I
family.
do think that a rejection of materialism
Emotional
is something missing in
stability.
society, and I do
Emotional
think that true wealth is
stability.
the family, and I think that true wealth is having a wife, and true wealth, that is what I think it is, and that is what I think truly success is being able to go home and look your family in the face and know that you're doing everything you can to support them. That's
And then
what
when
I
you
think
go to the
success
beach
is.
with your family, they're like, "There's my stud dad right there, standing there.
Do you have
that stud right there with his shirt off?
Do you have children?
Look at that hero. Look what he brought to the table. Look how hard this guy works. He came from
Sure.
nothing to this.
Yeah.
He's God damn it.
You're still whining. Stop whining
That
and
is
just
a
make an
product.
argument.
I'll smack your fat ass.
So you're gonna attack.
Straight
You're gonna
up.
attack me.
all right,
No, but
all right.
dude, nobody's
All right.
Do you
whining.
usually attack
This
armed
is
men
how
in
I
Florida?
talk, bro. Dude,
All right.
look
Let's
at
just-
your guy.
The fresh and fit dude, yo, he's like, okay, that's when it gets a little too intense, because do you really attack armed men in Florida? Like, yo, that's why I have to ask the question to you viewers. Like, what type of environment would you prefer to live in? An environment where you're dealing with rational minded people who show each other respect and on a level of manhood, or do you want to deal with mouth reckless monkeys that are juiced up and say and think they can do anything? It's crazy. This guy right here is really did something I think that was important, and I think it just shows a totally different level of alpha manhood, because what is kind of being exploited as alpha manhood and as a high value man is very much leaning over towards the monkey's direction, and not enough balance in the manosphere. So it's really good that this kind of altercation went down the way it did. I was going to go over his response, just about what he said about just reflecting on it, but I think I'm going to pass that. You guys kind of got the drift. But do let me know in the comments, where do you feel? Or excuse me, hold on, let me pause this out. Let me know in the comments, what do you feel is a safer environment? An environment where everybody is potentially armed and you never know what the next man has, or the environment where the only people that have guns are going to be the people that are willing to break the law. So in other words, the criminals. So it just kind of puts that perspective on it. I personally would rather be in that respectful, intellectual place where I know that man might potentially have a gun as well, because I have no intention to harm the next man or take anything the next man has. I just want to protect mine, and I want that man to have every right and every capability to do the same. And if somebody gets to pointing and saying all kind of fancy words and talking about running up on me or my loved ones, then you know what I'm saying? I don't care if I'm 400 pounds or if I'm 90 pounds. You know what I'm saying? there's an equalizer. You know what I mean? Justice has no weight limit. Hey, you guys definitely like and subscribe to the video. We're going to keep it coming from you. SMOKEPOLE TV. Watch out for the next video. This one's going to be hot. The psychology of the gun. It's going to be for the Democrats and the Republicans because it's going to kind of show both elements of like thought, and hopefully come at it from a perspective that all of you guys will understand, hopefully be able to digest and support. Like and subscribe to the video, comment for me. It helps us twist off the algorithm. I appreciate y'all. SMOKEPOLE TV.